Boys, you're not ready for what I've just done. Obviously, you've just clicked on this video, so you're like, oh my god, why is he depressed? Lol. Well, we know why he's depressed, because he's a Barnsley fan. But I've just recorded a 45-minute video and then deleted footage on accident on my camera. And there's no recycle bin on the camera, so it's just gone. As if Christmas couldn't get any worse. Let's get in there again for the second time. Friday the 20th of December. Luton 2, Derby 1. I've got deja vu. That is a big win for Luton. And the reason that I've not been sort of putting them in any sort of relegation battle at all is because I've got certain players that other teams in even bottom half, say, in Championship just haven't got. And one of them type of players is Carlton Morris. He scored in this game. I think he won up game in like 96 minutes or something like that. Obviously, Holmes got the other goal for Luton, the centre half. And it was a very boring game. But Morris, his general build-up play and his general play as a striker, as a number 9, is serious top Championship standard. He's a freak of a striker in this league. He's an absolute menace. Very, very good player. Derby, I'm not that worried about. They've won one game in about... Or they've won 2 games, I think, in 12 games. Something ridiculous like that. The run of form that they're on is absolutely horrendous. And obviously, they bet Portsmouth 4-0 other night on Friday. And then go and lose away at Luton with very, very boring performance. But I think they'll be sound. Both of these will be sound. Luton, I genuinely don't know. It depends what they do in January, which end they're looking at. But I think both of these teams are going to be between like 10th and 18th. They're just going to be mid-table fodder. No real threat of doing anything, I don't think. Luton have got maybe a slight chance of doing something at top end, depending on what they do in January, because you'd expect it to have a lot of money when they've just come down from Prem and barely spent out. But yeah, it did look a fair result. But it were a boring game, quite even. But I do think Luton have just got that edge because of the players that they've got, like Morris. On to Saturdays. Hull have won a game. What? They've won a game. I did think as well, recently, obviously Swansea have lost the last 2. But recent performances for last month, I can sort of see what they're trying to do. The performances have been half decent. They've not been like insanely boring to watch. The Leeds game when they lost 4-3 at like 90th were a very good game. They've had a lot of decent performances since. But they are just bound to mid-table mediocrity forever, them in Bristol City. They're holding hands in 11th and 12th. They're just an ass team. They're just so boring. And Hull, again, I think they've lost like 9 out of the last 10. Something ridiculous. They've done nothing of note in ages. They just keep losing non-stop. But that performance looked quite good. I didn't watch the game. I was watching Portsmouth Coventry, I think. I had quite a few tinnies on Saturday, so I can't remember that, in fairness. I'm just watching highlights and stuff like that, or all these games afterwards. But it is a massive, massive win for Hull. And again, January could be a decider on what they do. Now, going into this game, Portsmouth 4, Coventry 1. Callum Lang scored all 4. And I've been banging on about, since Kobe Bishop's come back, they've been scoring goals for fun. Which they have. Don't get me wrong. Last 3 games they've not scored. So, oh no, that's a lie. Last 2 games they've not scored. They got arseholed away at Derby. But that was more the defensive issues, and it's not the normal defence. Defensively looked absolutely honking in that game when we did that watch along. They put Norwich to a 0-0. But scored 3 there, 2 there, 3 there. Obviously 4 here against Coventry. They're scoring goals, which a lot of teams at bottom just aren't doing, which is something that they've got over all of them. You look either side of Portsmouth, down at bottom. Plymouth, Oxford, Cardiff, Hull, Stoke and Preston. They've scored most goals out of all of them. Yes, they're conceding a lot of goals. And that is a problem. Quite a big one as well. But I think they've got enough at top end at Page. Maybe like Luton said, because they've conceded 38. They've got a worse goal difference, Luton, than Portsmouth have. They've scored same and they've conceded more. But they've got some at top end at Page that can win them games where a lot of these sides just haven't got that, I don't think. Portsmouth, I think, will be sound. Coventry, it's just... Is Lampard going to have enough to get him in there? I don't think so. I think they're probably too far away. It's 11 points already. You've got teams like on the horizon of them as well, like your West Broms. Even Wednesday are starting to win games now. So again, it depends what they do in January. You'd expect them to have a lot of money as well, Cov. But do I think they'll get in there? No. I think they'll be in the Luton Derby category of just teams doing now to middle. God, do I have to speak about these again? Right, Wednesday bet Stoke 2-0. I'm not going to lie. I weren't following any results at all because of what I'm going to talk about with Barnsley game later on. I just couldn't care less on Saturday about football. Could not care less. So when I've seen that they've got a red card after the game and everything, now I'm thinking, oh, it must be like 90th minute or something that they've got it, and they're already 2-0 up. They went down to 10 in first half, and I think he's quite good as well most of the time. That Bernard. They went down to 10 men in first half. They've somehow won 2-0 in second half with 10 men. Stoke embarrassing. That's where I'm at. This XG is inflated, by the way, because Stoke missed a penalty in 80th. This is shit. This is really, really poor from Stoke. And again, they've been crap for ages. They've not won it. They've not won in 8 games. you know what I mean? It's really, really shit run of form. They're not scoring enough goals. They're more or less a guarantee to concede every game. And that's where a really good keeper in there as well. To be fair, it's giving me like a little bit like they're just a better Rotherham. If it weren't for Johansson, who majority of the times, obviously in this game, he don't look like he's had a blinder, but majority of the time, Johansson is saving him. I think he's got the most XG saved in the league, or definitely one of the most. And he's just got a load of idiots stood in front of him. And to be fair, the amount of like donations that I make to Stoke through Bet365, you'd think that they'd spend a bit of brass and try and make a team that can get promoted or something. But again, they just look like one that's bound to a certain position. When the last time they finished top half in Championship? Since they've come down, I swear they've just finished 16th 8 times in a row. And obviously Danny Roll's staying at Wednesday. For now. You just wait till summer, lads. He's holding out for a better job. Because this squad is not the 9th best squad in division. This is a bottom 6 team that, thanks to a freak of a manager, has got him in 9th and got all the deluded fan base thinking that they're going to get him in playoffs. Are they going to get in playoffs? No. Let's be completely serious. They've got 2 goal threats in the team, in my humble opinion, that's completely not biased. Smith, who, to be fair, I think Roll's getting a lot out of him because I don't even rate him that highly, and Windass. They're the only 2 serious goal threats. The squad as a whole is shit. Obviously, the 2 keepers that they've got are quite good, Beadle and that young'un. I do like Bernard, even though he got sent off. Charles is obviously good. Baz, when he can be arsed, I know he's an old man, but he's half decent. And then there's Windass and Smith. Other than that, this team is gash. And when Roll leaves in summer to go to maybe like a Wolves, he goes to like a bottom half Prem side, you're going down. Piggy wank bastards. Anyway, Burnley 2, Watford 1. When Esteve got injured, what? Have I watched different highlights? To be fair, I didn't see him. I just assumed that he were injured still. Let me just... Hold on, guys. We're gonna figure something out on job. I thought that injury was a lot worse than it was. And it were initially reported that I thought that he were out for like weeks. Because I was saying like, oh, Burnley might start conceding a few goals now because that was the main attribute as to why they've been so high. Went on in 14th minute away at Norwich. And he's back. Fair enough. Whatevs. Right, well, that's just binned everything off that I was going to say. I was going to say maybe Burnley will start conceding a few goals now that the best centre-half's injured. Obviously, they're on 9 in 22, so if they keep this up, they're on for less than 20 goals for the season, which is just absolutely insane. To be fair, there's a lot of good defensive sides in this league, and, well, you're 3 at top at best ones. I'm stumped. I've been completely thrown off of what I was going to say. Burnley have got my backing. Burnley and Sunderland have got my backing. I hope they do it. Don't get me wrong, Sheffield United are definitely going to finish in top 2. And Leeds, you know what? They're both going to Portos. So that's what you know what I've got to say about Burnley and Watford. Sheffield United and Leeds are going top 2, and there is no jinx at all that can change that. Oh God, speaking of, Cardiff 0, Sheffield United 2, and Leeds 4, Oxford 0. Let's just move on. Millwall 1, Blackburn 0. That's the first goal that Blackburn have conceded in 6 games. It's the first time they've not scored in 6 games. To be fair, 1-0, 1-0, 1-0, 1-0, 2-0. They were very defensively solid, but this does look like a bit of a slaughtering for Millwall. They do look like the better side across the board for the most part. But I think Blackburn are very diverse in how they can play and how they can win games. They give me serious Wickam vibes as to like a side that you wouldn't really expect to be up there, if we're being completely serious, is there. They can change how they play very easily. And I've definitely seen games this season where Blackburn have put this sort of performance in and come away with a 1-0 win. I've seen that many, many times. But Millwall's just a different beast altogether, I think. It's a completely different dynamic, I think, when you play Millwall at their place than it is to maybe any other team in this league. Obviously, there are sides that are much better at home than Millwall, like Sheffield United, Leeds, Burnley, sides like that. But I think Millwall away is just a fixture where teams that are doing well often go to and lose. They can proper get up for it in certain games. And it's not a place that I would want to go if I were a side like Blackburn that's like maybe punching the luck a little bit and shouldn't maybe be where they are in relation to the squad that they've got. Because you will go to Millwall and maybe get done, which they have done. And to be fair, Millwall's recent 5 home games, I'm on home form table here. The last 5 games, Leeds, Sunderland, Coventry, Sheffield United and Blackburn, which is 5 of your better teams. Well, Coventry's squad is obviously up there and Blackburn are up there, but that's 5 of your better sides. beat Leeds, draw with Sunderland, beat Blackburn. They're very, very hot and cold. I do agree with that. And they don't score loads and loads of goals at home, Millwall, which you'd probably expect them to do a little bit more with because they've got a decent squad in fairness. But that is a big win. It's a big win. They've not got enough to get in there. I'm not that deluded. Well, I'm deluded with Barnsley, but nothing else. They're not going enough to get in there. I think that top 7 will start to pull away, in fairness. But it's just... the same teams are always here. Are you not bored? Like, honestly. Bristol City, Swansea, Millwall. Where's Preston? Oh, they're sort of flirting with relegation battle. Grow up, because they're going to finish 13th as well. It's the same teams finishing in same positions all the time. To be fair, I'd kill someone to be there. Okay, Plymouth 3, Middlesbrough 3. Just the least entertaining Middlesbrough game, this. They are so fun to watch. I love it when their games on telly. Obviously, this one wasn't, but I enjoyed watching highlights of it. 38-4, 28 against. They are fun. They are fun, aren't they? To be fair, like I said with Portsmouth, maybe Plymouth have got goals in them that other teams and well, they've got certain players that other teams and like a certain standard, a certain caliber of player, especially offensively. Plymouth, like obviously Whittaker weren't even playing here. That other lad weren't playing the winger. I can't remember. They've got him on loan from a French team anyway, and he's actually Sissoko. Neither of them two are playing, and they've still scored 3 goals. The problem with Plymouth is that the defence is absolutely horrendously bad. Like, shocking. Extremely poor. You think of like how good Cooper was for Plymouth and how good he's doing at Sheffield United. If they didn't have him last year, they'd have gone down. The defence is just so bad. And like obviously Portsmouth is really bad as well. But Plymouth have conceded 10 more than Portsmouth. This is like... it's alright having decent strikers and decent forwards, but if you're conceding at least 2 a game, which Plymouth are doing, you've got no chance. You've got absolutely no chance of staying up if you're conceding 2 goals every game. If you can score 3 against Middlesbrough and still not win game, what is the point? Your strikers in your forward line at Plymouth will be thinking, what am I playing with? What are these idiots doing if they can't literally concede less than 2 once? To be fair, decent character for Middlesbrough as well to come back 3 times because Plymouth were winning there, and Middlesbrough have chipped back every time. But they are just very inconsistent, and that is why they're going to be more of a playoff team than a top 2, in my humble opinion. QPR 2, Preston 1. Maybe I do know something. Maybe I do know something because I've been saying that QPR are in a false position for months. Absolutely ages. The performances are genuinely very good. Obviously, they have some games where they're not up to it because the squad, in reality, isn't that good. I just really, really rate Cifuentes. And maybe other clubs that have been in the position that QPR when they were bottom of the league and shitbed and sacked him. But obviously, a decent ownership regime can see what they were doing, can see the performances are there, can see that the squad level isn't that good, and that they're still picking up points, especially recently. They're going to be nowhere near this bottom 3 by the time it's done. They'll be absolutely miles off it. In fact, I'm willing to put money on it that they're close to top 6 and bottom 3 when it's done. Because me throwing money at stuff's never gone wrong before. They were helped a little bit by Liam Lindsay getting sent off in 80th, and then they scored a late winner, obviously. Elias Chess still there, I don't know how because he's a baller. But it's a big, big win, that, for QPR. Preston, like I said, yes, they're obviously down in this sort of like, this fate down here. But it's Preston, and they are destined to finish about 13th. And then it last at Saturdays, there's obviously one more championship after this, but Sunderland have bet Norwich 2-1. Again, I think that was a fairly late one. Well, there were a red card there for Norwich in 70th, and then Bellingham scored in 72nd. I've always thought that Bellingham is overrated, by the way, like Job. I've never understood the serious hype with him. I do think it is a little bit of like his last name carrying him to places that he maybe shouldn't be. But, and I stand by that, by the way, because I genuinely do not think, like last season, for example, it was up to the standard and the hype that people were putting on him. But this season, he has been very good. Like these few games here recently, this is best that I've seen him. Personally, he's been very, very good. He's seriously taking it up a notch recently, and he's 19, just. And I'll keep saying this until Callum's come home. I don't think Sunderland will finish top 2. I do think this is a top 4 that is going to pull away, as you can see. We're like, maybe Blackburn win the game in hand, you know what I mean? But I think Blackburn might slide down a little bit. I do think it'll be a case where you're looking at like March, and there's maybe like an 8-10 point gap from 4th down to 5th. These 4 will pull away. But Sunderland, I just think the young squad... it is just young squad. I'm backing, I've said it for ages, I'm backing Sunderland to win league next year already. I don't think they will get it off the line this time because of the youth and the lack of experience that they've got, really, in the team. To be fair, Norwich have dropped off a cliff recently, haven't they? Because they start picking it up. They obviously had a lot of injuries, But I thought with these 2 games here and a lot of goals that they were scoring, that they maybe turn it around even with the lack of depth and the injuries that they've got. But they are seriously missing them now. They need to come back. That is, Sargent and Nunes had been out for ages. At least Nunes is back now. But they're just missing the star boys, aren't they? Again, January, Norwich, loads of money. Maybe they'll throw some at it, which might pull them a little bit close to top 6. But if they don't spend some brass, it's top half at best. And then last one from Championship on the Sunday is West Brom 2, Bristol City 0. Let me just go straight to the table again and laugh. 12th. Yep, let's carry on. West Brom's wingers are finally doing something. Finally, it's about time, honestly. Because they've done no all season. They're getting assists, which is fair enough. Like Fellows and Johnson are getting assists. They're more creators and goal scorers, aren't they? They're just putting it on a plate for Madge a lot of time. But they need to start scoring goals. They need to do something like this. In fairness, when I watched West Brom Sheffield United, I thought Johnson were very good on left. But it's about time that they start scoring goals. Because that's what they're missing. Moa, obviously, probably one of the best players on pitch again. He just always is. He's so consistent. He's really good. And I think West Brom are finally seeing the best of him, because for the first couple of years after he left Barnsley, he didn't really pull trees up, but now he's just one of the best players in the league, full stop. And like I said, I think this top 7 will pull away. In fact, we'll get the table up now. I think this top 7 pulls, personally. Watford are a good side. Obviously, they can win the game in hand and jump back in there. You know what I mean? Blackburn have got the games in hand. They could maybe go into auto race. Who knows? But I think it will be a case where West Brom upwards is that is your top 6. 6 of them teams in any random order. Obviously, top 4 are going to be in there anyway. But one of Blackburn, Middlesbrough, and West Brom will probably miss out, in my mind. And the other 2 will be there. That's where I'm at. Obviously, you've got sides that are putting a little bit of something together. QPR. You maybe like your outsiders. QPR, Luton, Coventry, maybe Norwich. Some idiots had said Wednesday, maybe. But no, I'm at a place where I think that top 7 is going to be 6 of your teams that get in there. As for bottom, like Plymouth and Oxford, I think sides could start pulling away from. I do think they're going down. I'm being completely honest. And it's not even about like the last games that's just gone. Oxford obviously got arseholed at Leeds before previously getting arseholed by Wednesday and losing to QPR. Again, arseholed by Sheffield United. They're just getting slapped about most weeks now. And they conceded so many goals. The squad just ain't good enough. They sacked one of the biggest assets that they had in Buckingham. I just don't. Even like Gary Rowett coming in and playing maybe a completely different style of football and trying to make them hard to beat, I don't think he'll succeed. I really don't. I do think Oxford and Plymouth will finish bottom 2. And then, still, for me, even though the points gap is closer, and it is getting closer like as weeks go by, really, from like Cardiff upwards, because Hull have won a game finally, Portsmouth have started getting points, the other sides above them are dropping points non-stop, Stoke, Preston, etc. The point tally is obviously close from Derby downwards, really, if you want to look at it like that. But I think Stoke downwards is your teams that are going to be in a bit of bother. Portsmouth, I think, will get out because of the goal scorers that they've got. But maybe Stoke, Hull, Cardiff, it might. One of them is where I'm at. And as for this shit league, there were 3 games on Friday night. Cambridge, Stockport, and Wickam were all at home. Cambridge lost 4-0 to Huddersfield in the first one. And to be honest, part of me is glad. Maybe I'm still deluded enough to think we're getting playoffs. If you've not seen Barnsley score, by the way, just get ready. Maybe I'm deluded enough to think that we'll still get in playoffs and still go up. I would not want to play Huddersfield if we're in there. But I don't think they'll be in there anyway, Huddersfield. I think they'll get top 2, which I've said for a couple of weeks. I think Wickam will maybe start dropping points. Especially if Bloomfield is going to be very sought after, whereas Duff maybe isn't. And I think it'd be easier to get Bloomfield than it would to get Duff, who's just signed a contract at Huddersfield. And is it a bit bigger club and stuff like that? The budget's bigger. If Bloomfield goes, obviously Wickam are going to drop off a cliff. Even if he don't, I think they'll start dropping points. Whereas Huddersfield, I think, will just only get stronger. They're scoring a lot of goals with an absolutely horrendous strike force. Huddersfield. If they maybe get Taylor on loan from Luton in January, which a lot of teams like looking at it. Well, it wasn't them that were looking at him really, and then he ended up stopping at Luton anyway. But if they get a serious striker like that and add it to this team, it's over. It seriously is over. Dominated start to finish. Never in danger of losing game for even a second. They were 3-0 up before half time had even gone. They're a very, very good side. And they will finish 3rd at an absolute minimum, Huddersfield. Stockport bet Peterborough 2-1. Where does that leave Peterborough, by the way? Now, they must be like, God, 5 points again. Obviously, they bet Crawley 4-3. But it's just a hell of a lot of red on either side of that win. 38 and 37. What are these lot doing? And as well, it's just the Louis Barry show. Again, 2 assists. What is this man on this season? 14 goals, 3 assists. From wing, by the way, 17 goal contributions in 21 in a league higher than he were at last. The only shining light for other teams going for playoffs is that Villa are going to recall him in January and send him to Championship. So that might see Stockport drop like a stone. But at the same time, you'd think that the board and the manager are not going to be thick enough to think, oh, we'll just lose him and that's it. They might try and get another loan in from somebody else. They might try and pull a favour with Villa and get another lad on loan in from them, maybe. They might actually spend some money and bring in a permanent signing instead of the best player for the last 2 years being on loan. But it's obviously worked well for him because they sat in 5th. And what can I say, because we're in 9th and we're crap. But that is a very, very big win, Stockport, against a side that poses a real goal threat. But I think Stockport defensively in big games have been good. Like obviously they kept a clean sheet against Wrexham. Birmingham I'm not bothered about. These are a decent side. They've only conceded 1. They didn't concede loads to us. They have a good team. Stockport, they settled well. They've got a good manager. But I do think the removal of what is the best player by an absolute mile in January is going to hit him. It's like running into a fucking bus. And then Wickam 0, Bolton 0, we don't care. Yep, I know you can see it on your screen. Right, Bristol Rovers 1, Wrexham 1. They're a big old scrap in this game, weren't they? And obviously McLean runs in there and throws an elbow like normal, but he is the golden child of the EFL, so just do whatever you want, bro. Omachire as well. But to be fair, maybe I actually do know a little bit of something, because the 2 danger men that I've analysed with my own visions is Elliot Lee at Wrexham and Omachire at Bristol Rovers. People keep telling me Omachire is crap, but I'm going to respectfully disagree. I think he was the only half-decent player for Bristol Rovers when they played us. Other than that, they looked absolutely horrendous. And these are one of the only 2 games that we've won at home this season. So that's how bad they are. It's just 2 disgusting teams playing each other in their own game. Wrexham do look like the better side, obviously. But to have had 13 shots and not even have 1 expected goal, they're not exactly clear-cut chances, do you know what I mean? They're probably scrappy, edge-at-box shots, which, to be fair, highlights did show. It weren't like, oh my god, how's he missed that over and over again? But they have grinded a result. Both sides, really. Whatever way you want to look at it. Any point away, even for a promotion-chasing side in this league, I think is good. Especially a juju place like Bristol Rovers. Despite how crap they've been this season and probably how bad they are at home, Bristol Rovers, like 13th. They're not exactly the best team in the world, are they? They don't lose that many. They've only lost 3 out of 10. It's not the worst for a side that is obviously, you look at table and think, well, we should be beating these. But I think these will start falling a little bit. I've said this for a while as well, and they keep proving me wrong in fairness, Wrexham. But I do think them and Stockport will both start maybe sliding. Obviously, it depends what these do in January, because you never know with Wrexham, they might chuck 20 million quid at it. Who knows? Lincoln a bit ready 2-0. How long Sellers been gone? Like a couple of weeks? I bet for Reading, it feels like he's been gone years. Like already. It's just, they look hopeless already. The team, they're creating nothing. They're scoring no goals. They just got arseholed away at Reading, away at Lincoln even, massively. Never had a chance in this game by the looks of it. I do feel sorry for him. But again, they've definitely got enough of a pillar to not get relegated, you'd think. Which sounds ridiculous. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, at the time Marcelo's going, and I said this straight away, they're in playoffs. But you've got to understand what's going on at Reading and the shit show that they're at. There's a rumour going around that Sellers can't bring any of Reading players in January. But then at the same time, I'm seeing them be linked with Harvey Nibbs up front. So, who knows with that? I guess you'll actually find out in January or February 1st once it's done if he can take anybody or not. I just feel so sorry for him and the shit that they're going through, because all the like sort of hope, the only bit of joy that they had that Sellers have brought them is gone like that overnight. And now it's just going to be like this for the rest of the year. Lincoln, decent side. Don't think they're getting there now. Look at your screen. Do me a favour and look at your screen. I have not even watched the highlights of this game. I left here. In the 28th minute, we conceded from 2 corners from his first 2 goals. Because God forbid it's a bit windy. So all those little fannies running around on pitch. A bit scared of getting wet. But yeah, I left in 28th minute, which is the second earliest exit of my life. Which then led to people on Twitter calling me a plastic Barnsley fan. You've got to tell me, man. I've had 15 season tickets. I've done more away games than half of these people have done homes or hot dinners. Nah. Plastic Barnsley fan! But to be fair, I don't even know what the 3rd or 4th goal were like. I don't care. We got absolutely dicked by Leighton Orient at home. There's 20 people stood in the way and going wild. And I'm sat there like, is this real? It's absolutely soul destroying, this league. It is brain numbing, like just getting dicked by these teams. To be fair, Leighton Orient are a decent sized club, but when you've got, like, I can physically count the people in the away end, and we've lost 4-0. Oh my god, I hate us. I hate this club, and I'm not going to make excuses. I did a little TikTok on this after the game. I'm not going to make excuses. Connell's injured, Phillips is injured, Roberts is injured, Earl's injured. That's 3.5 for as best players. But this squad is to be fair, in a competitive game, not a cup or anything stupid like that, in a league fixture, that is the worst 11 I've ever seen Barnsley have, ever. In my life. You've got a couple decent players in there as well, in fairness. Like, Gent, if Gent could cross a ball, he'd be at top half at Championship, do you know what I mean? So you're going to get imperfections with players because we're in League One. You're not going to buy someone crazy. You just, or they'll be in an higher league. It's just that simple. Gent is a player. He's a serious player. Humphries, I could not have a bad word to say about that guy if he shot my family. He is unbelievable. I love that bloke. Dunn is not in his right position. But I'm not going to go into that. The players here that are good enough for this club, on a serious note, Gent, Humphries. To be fair, I believe in Dunn if he actually goes in his right position. And then McCarley, from what I've seen. That's it. The rest of this team is it's bottom half League One, League Two fodder, which explains why his home form in this division, if we go to it, is relegation standard. We have seen 2 wins at home in 11 games. 2 wins in League One. 2. Can you hear me? 2 wins at home in League One. What's the point? It's shit. It's a good job. Oh, to be fair, I'm a plastic Barnsley fan, so I don't go to it. But it's a good job I go to away games most of the time. Because fucking, God forbid, if I didn't go to away games, I know that I went to home ones. I'm telling you now, I'd be tying it. I'd be tying not. Yeah, I'm fed up. I'm not going again. I'm going on 28 to Peterborough away. But yeah, sorry, Leighton Orient fans. To be fair, the first half an hour that I saw, it was just very scrappy and horrible, but at least your boys, well, at least your men that are on pitch can handle a bit of rain and wind. Because ours are just to set us off. There'll be nowhere near going down. They haven't conceded a goal in about 6 months. Blackpool 0, Stevenage 0. I don't care anymore. Burton 1, Exeter 2. That is quite a big result in the relegation battle. Obviously, Exeter aren't in it. And somehow, well, not somehow because we're good away from home, but we bet Exeter last week 2-1. And then they've gone and bet Burton 2-1 away. But Burton just are not scoring anywhere near enough goals. They've got 17. I'm assuming at a quick glance, the second least in division behind Stevenage, but at least Stevenage are decent defensively. They've only conceded 17, which is nearly half the amount that Barnsley have conceded, crazily enough. But yeah, they're not scoring enough goals, Burton. They're way too easy to play against, I think. And they've not conceded millions, you know what I mean? They're not like the worst defensive side ever, but they've got nothing going forward. They've won 2 games all season. It's relegation standard, unfortunately. Exeter, maybe they'll start looking at this and thinking, oh, playoffs is back on now. Exeter are going to be probably around 13th, 12th-ish. Mansfield 1, Rotherham 0. To be fair, Rotherham won a couple of games on bounce, didn't they? So they've propelled themselves away from bottom 4 a little bit, but they are still absolutely horrendous. They're shocking. Steve Evans is pardon me, is a fatty. Mansfield have maybe got it in them to push for top 6, but I think January could be quite tough where other teams strengthen and Mansfield maybe just haven't got that much money to bring in top League One standard players that other teams that are going to bring in that are going for playoffs. But they've started really, really good. They've had a brilliant year, Mansfield. It annoys me when people are like, oh, we're doing crap. When Mansfield fans are telling me that they're doing crap, you've just come up from League 2. Be serious, please. If you were told at start of year you're going to be 10th, top 10 at Christmas, you'd have snapped their hand off. You'd have chopped it off in one slice. So stop acting good and accept what is a very good year for you so far. Northampton 0, Charlton 5. To be fair, when I was saying like, oh my God, we've lost 4-0 like to these. Do you know what I mean? We've lost 4-0 to Leighton Orient. We're crap. And I'm seeing Charlton fans literally moaning at this. And they've won 5-0 away at Northampton. It's just like, you know, and we're not biggest clubs in the world. And maybe this is just me thinking that we're someone that we're not. But it's just soul destroying. Being like, obviously Charlton are a bigger club than us, but Charlton have been here for years. Charlton have had one season in Championship in like 8. It's depressing. It's awful. And like, yeah, they've won 5-0 here, but they're going to get it playoffs. Charlton, are we being serious? No, they're not. It's just another season. They're just like trotting along, existing. Northampton, I don't know what's up with this. Seriously. I mean, they bet Peterborough 2-1. But other than that, 2 goals there, 2 goals there, 3 there to Rotherham on all sides. Lost 5-0 at home to Charlton. And I think a lot of the better players are at top end of pitch, but they're not scoring enough goals recently, Northampton. And the defence, oh my goodness me. They need some serious investment in January at defensive end. Because if not, there's sides down here that I think are going to start again getting some results. And Shrewsbury definitely one of them. Obviously, they've got a big gap from them to Shrewsbury, but Shrewsbury are going to be one that I think start getting some points. Crawley have got faith in them that a lot of these sides aren't. Bristol Rovers got a point against Wrexham. Obviously, Rotherham, as shit as they are, they've got players there that'll probably be alright for them. They need some at Northampton, and they need it fast, especially back end. And then finally, Wigan 2, Shrewsbury 2. Like I just said, I think Shrewsbury will start getting some points. This is just 2 absolutely disgusting teams with the football that they play going up against each other. So I'm surprised that the expected goals weren't like 0.5% each, with balls going out for throwing, balls in play for 20 minutes max. Surprised it weren't something like that. I'm surprised there were 4 goals in it, in fairness. But we're going to be nowhere near this, I don't think, when time comes. I think they've got enough, especially like Asgard, players like that. They've got the little bits of quality at top end. They don't concede loads, or a good defensive side, Wigan. Shrewsbury, I think, will start jujuing the way up. I think Burton and Cambridge are done, like I've said for ages. I think Shrewsbury will get out. I genuinely do. And then obviously tonight there's a Crawley Birmingham, so we will be doing a watch along. If you're on this channel at 10 to 8, if you happen to be here, then I will be live. So see you there. But this is where we're at with League One table. This is where we're at. I don't care about anything else. We're 9th. We're 9th in League One. We've played more games than everybody. We've conceded 30 goals. We've got a negative goal difference at Christmas in League One. We've won 2 games at home this year in 11. Two wins in 11. We lost 4-0 to Leyton Orient. We lost 3-0 earlier to Stevenage. At least, maybe his owners will spend some money. We need 2 centre-halves. We need a striker. We need a keeper. But yeah, I've had enough. I just think football's crap. It's not real. End of the day, who cares? I'm going to open some presents in a couple of days and get levered. Let's go. But that's that. I hope that wasn't too bad to say that I recorded the full thing and deleted it on accident, so then I had to go through it all again. So I hope it wasn't the most depressing thing ever, listening to me go over the same thing twice. But thank you as always for watching. Make sure you like the video, subscribe as always. There will be a video posted on Christmas Day, but it's only a predictions one, so don't get too excited. But that's that. So if I don't see you, in fact, well, I'll see you tonight if you're in the watch along. But if I don't see you before then I hope you have a very good Christmas, boys. Love you all. Thank you for making this my job. Nah, actually, I retract that statement. I wish this weren't my job, because then I could just stop thinking about football and wear shit. I'm kidding. Thanks, guys. Right, I love you. See you in a bit. Bye.
I say I'm a man, yes, I'm a mucker. I think of me saying as a right good looker. I say up that. Show us bit it.